Hey, problem solvers. You just heard Harry the Dirty Dog talking about our text structure for today, problem and solution. And we're going to find out some more about problem and solution with our M&M's candy page. So hopefully you already read it once, because remember I like to say you read things at least twice. First time to get through the words, second time we start to understand it a little bit better. So hopefully you've already read it once. We're going to read it again, and we're going to answer the questions and talk about how this text is structured, which we already know, but we're still going to talk about it. Okay. M&M's candy. Yummy. After you're done, you might want to go to YouTube and watch a how it's made video on M&M's. It's pretty cool to see how they're made. Okay. Here might go with my keys again. Many people like chocolate. Me, I do. Old people, young people, and everyone in between. There is one problem with chocolate, though. Oh, there's a clue word, problem. It melts. Hold a piece of chocolate in your hand and it will melt. Leave it on a sunny table and it will melt. This makes it hard to take chocolate with you. You can't carry it in your pocket unless you want a messy pocket. In World War II, soldiers wanted to eat chocolate. Soldiers carried their food around, though. Soldiers in warm places had messy chocolate. Luckily, one man found a solution. There's another clue word. I'm going to underline those clue words as I read them in the text. Forrest Mars was a candy maker. In Spain, he saw soldiers eating chocolate. Their chocolate was covered in a candy shell. This chocolate did not melt. Yes. Forrest Mars thought this was a good idea. In 1941, he invented M&Ms. He showed them to the U.S. Army. The Army loved this candy. Now soldiers could enjoy chocolate in warm places. During World War II, M&Ms were only sold to the military. Only soldiers could eat M&Ms. After the war, soldiers went home. They still wanted M&Ms. Y'all? Yes, please. Mars decided to sell M&Ms to everyone. The slogan was, melts in your mouth, not in your hand. Now everyone can eat chocolate without making a mess. Well, thank you, Mr. Forrest Mars. I love your candy. Who else likes M&Ms? Yummy. Do you ever sort them out by color, even though they all taste the same? Okay, just like what we've been doing all week, we're going to talk about our text structure and how we can go back into the text and find our answers. Let's look at number 1. How are the paragraphs in this passage connected? Now, we've been talking about the question like that, how is something connected? That means how did the author structure this text? What is its text structure? And we know this text structure today is problem and solution. Problem, the chocolate melted. Solution, put a candy shell around it, okay? So we take off our question words, and remember, you should be writing this too. How are the paragraphs in the passage connected? The paragraphs. Now, one thing I'm going to say is that you don't have to keep looking at me at what I write and looking back at your paper to spell these long words, because guess what? That's an in-your-face word. Remember I say that? It's because it's in your face, right? The paragraphs in this, the paragraphs are connected by problem, melted chocolate, and solution. M&M candy. Period. So these are connected. The first part is about the melted chocolate, and the second paragraph is our solution. It's about the hard shell and inventing the M&M's candy. And what clue words? Well, we underlined our clue words. So as you're reading sometimes in text, if you come across something that you think is important, go ahead and underline it because it probably is. And I was finding our clue words today, and our clue words were, we've actually literally found the text structure, problem, solution. I don't have a whole lot of space here, so I cannot write it in a complete sentence. So I'm just going to write clue equals problem and then the word solution under it. And because I underlined it in my text, it makes it really easy for me to go back and make sure I spell it correctly, because that's another in-your-face word. Okay. Number 2, it says underline 2 sentences that show this connection. How are they connected? How are the paragraphs connected? Well, we underlined our clue words, so we can easily go back and underline, there was one problem with chocolate, and luckily one man found a solution. So that one was really easy because as we were reading, we were underlining our clue words. It says to write them. I don't think we need to since we've underlined them. We've identified them already. So we can skip number 2. All right, let's go ahead and move over and look at number 3. The passage says there is a problem with chocolate. What was the problem? I think we already know the answer to that, but I'm going to go back into the text for my text evidence, because if I want to color it, I would color it yellow. So the question is asking, what was the problem with chocolate? Well, since we underlined our clue words, it's very easy for us to find the answer. There was one problem with chocolate, though. It melts. So that makes it really easy to find our answer. Only soldiers can eat it. At first, only soldiers could eat it, but then remember, he ended up selling it. So, yes, that was a problem for the rest of the country, but it didn't stay a problem. It is too heavy to carry. No. I'm putting little X's by the nose. It melts in warm places. We just read that, so I'm going to put a check for a maybe, but I always want to check all my answers. It doesn't fit in pockets. Chocolate fits in pockets. So I know that C is my correct answer. Okay, let's look at number 4. Who solved this problem and how was it solved? Use examples from the text to support your answer. I know the answer, but I'm going to go back into the text. So there's 2 parts. Who solved it and how? So there's 1 part, 2 parts. And you'll come across questions like that throughout the course of your educational career. So I always like to identify that there's 2 questions so I remember to do both. Some students will say, blah, 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 solve the problem. But then they'll forget to go back and answer the second part, which I hate marking things wrong for that. Okay? So I'm going to go, who solved my problem? I'm going to go back into my text. And I know the problem was solved in the second paragraph, so I go down to the second paragraph. Forrest Mars was a candy maker, so we know that he is the one that invented the M&Ms. So I'm going to start my sentence complete, and I'm going to spell his name correctly because it's, yes it is, in your face. Okay, Forrest Mars, oops, that should be an S, solved the problem, period. Forrest Mars solved the problem. Why is the M capitalized? Because that's his last name. First, middle, and last names always get a capital letter. Now I wrote, oh yeah, right here, I have a number 2 there, so I know that there's 2 parts to this question. How was it solved? How did he solve the problem? We read that he solved it by putting a candy shell around the chocolate. He solved it by making a candy shell around the chocolate. Period. And that is using text evidence because it says in the text, there was a candy shell. I'm just giving some wait time because, again, I write faster. Oops, sorry. Okay. Let's look at number 5. Go ahead and read the question. Read the answer choices and see if you know what it is. Sorry, I needed to get a sip of water and my water bottle was at my table. Number 5, the text states that M&Ms were made for soldiers. Why did Mars make candy for soldiers? So I'm going to go back into the text. Why did he make them for soldiers? In 1941, he invented M&Ms. He showed it to the U.S. Army. They loved the candy. Now they could enjoy chocolate in warm places. It's really easy to get the answers correct when you go back and look for them. Okay, why did he invent them for soldiers? Soldiers have to carry their own food with them. Soldiers have a lot of pockets. Forrest Mars was a soldier who loved chocolate. Forrest Mars loved the Army. Remember, our best answer would be, because what did they have to do? Did it say that they had to carry their food with them in the text? It does. I'm trying to find it. Where is it? Here's a candy maker. This did not melt. Forrest showed them to the Army. The Army loved. Now they could enjoy chocolate in, oh, there it is. Soldiers carry their own food around. And so remember, it would melt in their pockets. Sometimes you have to hunt around for answers. And that's okay. It doesn't take that long, right? So, yes. Did it say they have a lot of pockets? No. Did they say he was a soldier? They didn't say that in the text. Forrest Mars loved the Army. He probably loved the Army, so I'm going to put a little check mark right there. But what's a better answer for this question? Why did he make candy for soldiers? They have to carry their food with them, or he loved the Army. The better choice would be carry their food with them. That way they didn't melt in their pockets. All right, last one. Maybe if you do a great job on your schoolwork, you can have some M&Ms. If you don't have any at home, maybe you can get some this weekend. And think of Forrest Mars. There's your extension activity. Research M&Ms and Forrest Mars. Maybe he invented other things that we don't know about. What did Mars decide to do when they realized soldiers still wanted M&Ms when they returned home? So at the end, they still wanted M&Ms. So Mars decided to sell M&Ms to everyone. Again, right there in the text. I know that that happened at the end of the text, so then I look really quickly at the end of the text. Mars decided to sell M&Ms to everyone. If you can't make that and symbol, just kind of do a plus line. So in review today, we talked about problem and solution. Something is wrong, somebody's got to fix it. In this text, there's actually 2 problems and 2 solutions. We know the first one is that the chocolate kept melting, and the solution was that Forrest Mars made the hard candy shell M&Ms. There is a second problem, though, towards the end. We just talked about it. Do you know what it is? Problem, everyone wanted it. Solution, he sold it to everyone. Okay, thank you, Mr. Forrest Mars. There's your extension activity to research and learn more about M&Ms and Forrest Mars. And we'll talk about another text structure tomorrow. Have a great day. Oh, don't forget, cut it out, glue it in your reader's notebook. Okay, great.